An entire NBA career played in 10 seconds to going endless games without a W. These are the most embarrassing records in NBA history. Lowest career free throw percentage. You think any player good enough to make it to the NBA could sink a free throw, but that's not the case. None of them did as bad as former Detroit Pistons power forward Ben Wallace. This dude helped the Pistons to the NBA championship title in 2004, won Defensive Player of the Year award 4 times, the Best Rebounder award twice, and the Best Shot Blocker award once. So you know he could ball. But free throws made him look like a 6-year-old at the rec center.
Making Williams pay for the reach-in.
Over 17 years of his career, Wallace made 2,679 free throw attempts and made just 1,109 of them. Do the math, and that's a 41.4% success rate. Damn, that's pretty low for a shot with no resistance. I mean, it's just between you and the basket. Wallace's best ever season in terms of free throw percentage was 03-04, and that season, he had just 49%. You know what's crazy? Even if he managed to average that 49% throughout his career, he'd still make the top 5 all-worst free throw shooters. And it didn't have to do with what team he played for, his jersey number, or some sentimental crap. Wallace played for Washington, Chicago, Orlando, and Cleveland and could never master free throws. Damn, make me think it's something psychological, you know? Ben Wallace couldn't take advantage of getting fouled, but this next player was all about giving away fouls. Most technical fouls, 2 NBA MVP awards, 14 All-Star selections, and ranking 3rd on the all-time scoring list definitely means he was doing a lot of right things on the court. But when it came to keeping his game clean, Carmelo was a dip bowl after Friday Night Football. Dirty. He's the leader in all-time technical fouls, with 332 Ts in his 20 years in the league, and he gave these fouls away in every way possible, from complaining to trash talking to reckless elbowing opponents. The mailman was one of those dudes who would leave you sore. And I know, he played in an era when the NBA was really physical, but Malone always took things up a notch, like in December 1991, when he elbowed Detroit Pistons superstar Isaiah Thomas into needing 40-plus stitches. Or in 1998, when David Robinson was on the receiving end of another brutal elbow from the Utah Jazz legend. Malone was a menace. His 332 technical fouls are just 3 ahead of second-place Charles Barkley and 15 ahead of Rashad Wallace, who holds the record for most single-season technical fouls with 44 technical fouls in 80 games in the 2000-2001 season. And when it comes to technical fouls, no one seems to relish them more than Rasheed Wallace. No wonder he also holds the record for career ejections with 29 and even led the NBA in all but 3 years between 1999 and 2010. Everyone got to know just how nasty a baller Rasheed was. But we'll never quite know what type of player this next dude could have been. Why? Because he holds the record for the least amount of playing time ever. The name, Jamison Curry. The team, Los Angeles Clippers. The playing time, 4 seconds. And no, that's not how long he got to play for the Clippers. That's the length of his entire career. Dang. How do you get all the way to the NBA just to play for 4 seconds? Jamison was a top high school prospect from North Carolina. He broke MJ's high school state scoring record, but unfortunately got into some trouble with the law. Fast forward to the 2007 draft, the Chicago Bulls drafted him as the 51st pick and then sent him to the Development League. This dude had to play in France, Italy, Venezuela, and even Cyprus before coming back to the G League, getting traded to the LA Clippers, and finally getting his NBA debut. It was in January 2010, 3 days after Jamison signed for the Clippers. At the TD Garden in Boston, the Clippers head coach at the time, Mike Dunleavy, brought him on for the last 3.9 seconds of the loss against Boston, and the following day, he was let go to make room for new signing Bobby Brown. Dang. Honestly, that story made me sadder than a Titanic. He worked so hard, and he didn't stop working. Curry tried getting back into the league through the D-League before getting arrested again, then ended up in a near-death accident that left him with a severe back and rib injury that ended his playing career. Dude's NBA career was really gone in the blink of an eye. But you can't laugh at the next one. Worst three-point percentage. Three-pointers ain't easy. At least not as easy as Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and the 12-year-old who cooks me at the Y every Saturday makes them look. But Charles Barkley may have the opposite problem. This donut-loving commentator made them look hard back in the day. Don't let anything he says on TNT fool you. During his playing days, Charles Barkley was absolutely terrible with three-pointers. Over his 15 seasons in the league, he had just 2 seasons where his three-point success rate was more than 30%. And by the end of his career, the round mound of rebound had a career three-point percentage of 26.6%. That was my average test score in high school. He dunked, and I flunked. Listen, that doesn't take anything away from how great a power forward Barkley was. Nah. He's definitely up there with the best to play that position. It even makes him more shocking and embarrassing that his three-point shooting is so bad, he once lost a three-point contest to Shaquille O'Neal. Mind you, Shaq couldn't even make free throws, let alone three-point shots, but he still beat Barkley. His worst game ever was back during his Rocket days. December 1996 versus the Raptors, when he went just 2 for 11. This is one of those records that might never get broken, to be fair. Why? Not only does Barkley have the lowest three-point percentage, but he also has the most attempts, 2020, for any player with a three-point percentage below 30%. This dude was missing shots for fun and still trying more, and still missing those. We call that efficient insufficiency, folks. But hey, Chuck had the will to keep on trying, and I admire that. Whether his three-point shot percentage or a pile of Krispy Kremes, he gets to the bottom of it. And this isn't the only time we've seen an NBA player get so consistent at missing that he broke a record with it. Most consecutive missed shots. Okay, this one is as funny as it's embarrassing. Because how in seven heavens does a professional basketball player in the National Basketball Association miss 35 shots in a row? That's like when I try to talk to a woman at the club. Charlotte Bobcats' Kevin Burleson held this rather unfortunate record from the 2005-06 season. KB was a bench player, starting just one of his 39 active games. He ended the season with an average of 8 minutes and 42 seconds of playing time and 2.3 shots per game, bringing his total shot attempts to 88. But what's crazy is that of those 88 attempts, 35 in a row didn't go in. Here's some statistics on how crazy it is. If we assume Burleson's true field goal percentage is the league's average of 45%, the odds of him consecutively missing 35 shots out of 88 attempts is 1 out of 22,641,886. And to make it worse for KB, he had to spread the woeful yet historic achievement over 18 games. Dude didn't have a couple bad nights. Nah, he was bad for 18 straight nights. Starting from January 14th till March 21st, Burleson appeared for 18 out of the Bobcats' 32 games and missed all the shots he attempted. He even missed 6 layups in a row. But if he wasn't feeling bad for himself, the fact that they kept playing him with the percentage that low is really a compliment. But being an embarrassment to the game of basketball isn't always done solo dolo. No, like the game itself, some failures are accomplished by a team. Most consecutive losses as a team. Run it back to the end of the 2009-10 season. For every LeBron Cleveland and Miami Heat fan, it was the year of the decision. Coming off his second MVP season, LeBron announced on live TV that he had decided to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers for Miami. and take his talents to South Beach?
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
The Cavaliers must have known they had a tough season coming because not only did they lose LeBron, but they also lost former NBA Coach of the Year, Mike Brown, and their general manager, Danny Ferry. Sure, they had a couple of important persons, but they didn't expect what happened when the 2010-11 season started. They went from 61 wins in the 2009-2010 season to a conference worst 19. This became the biggest single-season drop in NBA history, 61 wins to 63 losses. But that's not even the record. Of the 63 losses that season, the Cavaliers had a 26-game losing streak. Now that's a record. They started their downward spiral in December of 2010 and didn't win again until February 2011. This isn't just the longest losing streak in NBA history, but also the longest in American professional team sports. Dang. If I didn't know better, I'd say the league was creating some kind of advertisement for LeBron. Before it looks like a Cleveland witch hunt, though. I should mention that just a couple years after, in the 2013-14 season, the Philadelphia 76ers matched that record with their own 26-game losing streak. You know what they say, it's lonely at the top. Or the bottom, I guess. I just prefer to stay in the middle. You know, average. And if my girlfriend asks, yeah, 3 inches is average. Anyway, the Sixers and the Cavaliers aren't the only teams that had it so bad they broke records. Check this out. The playoffs are supposed to be the best in the league facing off against each other. But the 2009 New Orleans Hornets team wasn't nearly the best. At least not in that Game 5 against the Denver Nuggets. In fact, they put up the worst ever performance seen in a playoff series when they lost Game 5 of the 2009 Western Conference first round to the Nuggets, 121-63. Before you get out your calculators, allow me. Carry the 1, add the 2, divide by the square root, and add pi exponentially, and that's a 58-point deficit, which is the widest margin in any playoff game ever. And this record was cooked up and served to the Hornets courtesy of Carmelo Anthony, who cooked up 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in that game. He was helped by Chauncey Billups and J.R. Smith, who both scored 17 and 12 points respectively to kill any New Orleans hope of a comeback and seal the series win 4-1 for the Nuggets. How did the Hornets ever deliver a performance that bad? You have to watch the game to see it for yourself. Or just ask the St. Louis Hawks from the 1956 Western Division semifinals because they managed to do exactly the same thing. They lost the opening game of the semifinals 133-75 to the Minneapolis Lakers, the same 58-point deficit. The only difference is the Hawks still came back to win the series in Game 3, but not before writing their name in my embarrassing book of records. For the final and most embarrassing record, most final losses without a ring. Gotta say, this was a tough pill to swallow, given it's a record held by one of the game's greatest ever players, the late Elgin "Gay" Baylor. In his 14 playing seasons in the NBA before going into coaching and executive management, Elgin was what everyone called the complete player. He could shoot, was a strong rebounder, an accomplished passer, and had his deadly trademark hanging jump shot. His trophy cabinet was never empty either, as he was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 1959, 11-time NBA All-Star, and a 10-time member of the All-NBA First Team, amongst other honors. The only reason this guy didn't get an MVP award was because he played in the same era as Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. But the one major honor he never got was the one every player wants, the NBA championship. Of course, he won't be the first Hall of Famer to not get a championship ring. What makes Baylor's case embarrassing is that he always came so close. During his years with the Minneapolis Los Angeles Lakers, he played in 8 NBA Finals and somehow never won any. Losing 8 isn't the problem, to be fair. Even LeBron has lost 6 out of 10. But losing 8 finals and never winning the championship is just sad. And to make it worse, Baylor called it a day on his career early in the 1971-72 season, only for the Lakers to go on and win the championship that year. Damn, that's what pain's gotta feel like. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace.